Gets the most important part. Voters don't care about your website. They care about themselves. They don't care about you attacking the guy in third place. They care about themselves. Voters care about the economy, the border, national security. No wonder Trump isn't worried.
President Trump, are you worried about Nikki Haley gaining on you in New Hampshire?
A little bit. She doesn't have a chance.
I'm not very good at this.
Even Christie said today, he said she doesn't have what it takes.
He doesn't seem worried. Of course, Trump would say that if she did have a chance. And to be fair, she has a chance to win in New Hampshire. And anything can happen in Iowa. That's why we're going tomorrow morning, literally into the blizzard. But maybe we were right back in September, now 4 or 5 months ago, with this prediction. It's becoming more apparent, probably is apparent at this point, that the real drama in the 2024 presidential election is going to be among Democrats. That was September. I had a good tan back then. Amazing. We bring in our panel, Lauren Wright, Associate Research Scholar and Lecturer in Politics and Public Affairs, Princeton University, political consultant Shermichael Singleton. I think, Lauren, you might have been on that night.
I might have been. I'm there a lot of nights.
There you go. And we're glad to have you. Do either of you want to dispute my premise that the real drama? Okay.
Well, I disagree with your debate take on Nikki Haley. It's very obvious she did what she did. She wants to seem tough. She wants to seem sharp, but she can't alienate Trump voters. So how do you do that? You beat up on Ron DeSantis, and you avoid making those people angry.
But you know what? There's an interesting level of sobriety about all of this, and that is that yesterday, today, and tomorrow, Donald Trump is still the likely frontrunner.
I agree with you.
Still likely the Republican nominee. Nikki Haley is likely to win in New Hampshire. But what comes after New Hampshire? Her home state of South Carolina, where Donald Trump is ahead of her by 20 percentage points. So this is what I predict, Leland. I predict after Iowa, DeSantis is going to have to make a tough decision. He's likely to drop out. I believe Nikki Haley will probably try to stand until South Carolina. But after South Carolina, when you look at the other states to come, Arizona, et cetera, those are voters that are crystallized around Donald Trump. So she's likely to drop out by South Carolina. So I think this is Trump's all the way to the bank.
There is seeming to be kind of a reckoning inside the media ahead of this. You think about the New York Times, the case for Trump by someone who wants him to lose. This is Bret Stephens writing, laid out a lot of really interesting points. You can't defeat an opponent if you refuse to understand what makes him formidable. Too many people, especially progressives, fail to think deeply about the enduring sources of his appeal and to do so without calling him names or disparaging his supporters. People don't like being called names. I'm thinking about Iowa, because that's what's next, right? Lauren, do you see any reason? And there's a two parts to this. One, for Trump to be worried, but if he's not worried, why is his campaign lowering expectations?
Well, because of the spread. Maybe they won't win by 12 points. Maybe it'll be single digits, but it's still decisive. So I understand that. But, you know, this is the situation we're in. It is absolutely absurd. There's a town hall with a former president where a real question is, will you be a dictator? And no one knows the answer to it. And a real question is, will you use the DOJ against your political opponents? And no one knows the answer to it. We're all on the edge of our seats. And Joe Biden is losing to that person in some states by quite a few points. And so, yes, I take your point. Joe Biden is in huge trouble. And it is just even more underlined by the fact that Trump is an alienating and divisive candidate. That is the worst choice for Republicans to bring into a national election.
I'm not necessarily convinced that it's the worst choice against Joe Biden. Joe Biden has one issue. He did. But Joe Biden has one issue that he can never change. That is his age. There's nothing aspirational or inspirational about Joe Biden for the average Democratic voter, for the average swing voter. And when you look at the state of the economy, you look at immigration, where you have Democratic strong suits like New York, Chicago, Illinois, black cities that are saying, wait a minute here, what about what we're going through, Joe Biden, that we voted for you 95% and we've seen nothing over 4 years? That's not a winning message, Leland. People don't care about the trials that President Trump is going through. That's baked in at this point.
No, I think that is baked in. And that sort of is what is happening now and how the White House is running on this, right? Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.